I'm Hogziller. I'm here again to do another Tycoon game. Today we are going to do Airport Tycoon. This game was published on April of 2000 under the title of Airport Tycoon, but as you will see when we do the playing of the game, it was originally going to be Air Mogul. What happened is the publisher, Global Star Software, decided in the weeks before the game was released to change the title of the game. But there was not enough time to actually change all the titles within the software itself. So Air Mogul is referenced throughout this game, which actually was very confusing when I first got this game. Like, why is there a different title? Do I have the same game? I really didn't understand until reading around the internet recently how this name change came about. Overall, the game was a mixed review, and I agree with that. It's not a bad game, but it sure ain't a game that I sit and play for weeks on end. I usually try and get all the stuff, the upgrades developed, and then after that, it just there's nothing else to really do. Um, so let's hop into it here. Um, what I usually do is hop into the airport options, see what we got here for graphics. We'll turn weather. We'll turn weather on, but hazards off. How about that? We're gonna go. Trying to remember if I want this on medium or hard. The reason I question this is like later in the game I might try and do uh, a terminal building. I'm going to start out as cargo first and then go with passengers later, just because passengers on this game is a little more of a pain, and I want to get established as a cargo airport first. And by selecting this option, this allows you to um, decide what kind of edits you can do to an airport. So, for example, if you're on easy, you can only select ever prefab terminals, and you can never make any edits to the exterior of them. You can, I guess, gut them out and add retail areas and whatnot to them, but you're limited because you're on easy. Medium and hard, you can make your own terminals in any shape you generally want, especially to fit your jet bridges later in the game. But another difference is the amount you can be in the overdraft. So medium will allow, easy will allow, I believe, for 10 million over, while medium allows for 5 million over, I believe, and then it's a million on hard. I'm trying to remember how much that was. But anyway, let's go ahead. Let's get our speed down as low as possible. You can map your keyboard here. You're going to definitely want to make sure that these are correct. So let's go ahead and get started. One thing, and it's a big thing about this game, is some cities are glitchy, which I mean, what I mean by that is as you're going along, after you get a couple flights and carriers in, the game will just end for no apparent reason. Don't know why. I know there's not much documentation out there why. Um, it is what it is. A couple cities on this game I know 100% do not glitch out ever, or rarely. I guess I should never say ever. One is Amsterdam. I use that a lot. That's an easier one to do. Um, Another one I've used for harder gameplay is Rio de Janeiro. And I usually play this one a lot because it ain't as easy as you're gonna see. Once you get like an award or a couple awards in this game, the contracts and flights come in like nothing on this game. It's kind of one of those ramp it up games, kind of like on Sim City 3000, where you can put down your residential, commercial, industrial, and you get a little bit of money in. You take that little bit of money, put it into more residential or commercial or industrial, and you get even more money in, and then it's a runaway freight train, and you get more and more money that you don't even know what to do with. So that's what this is gonna be. For the sake of this game, I'm gonna go ahead and play Amsterdam, which means a couple key carriers you're going to want out of this is Dutch Air and Air Holland. So let's go ahead and get started. Choose an airport location. So this is for more passenger-based games that you want to play. You can be real close to the city, which helps with passengers. But what will happen is like competing airports, which you don't get to see in this game, will start buying up tracts of land around the edge of the city. And so being close doesn't pay, mainly because I'm going to start a cargo airport anyway. So you could see you're closer to the city. There could be a hazard of high buildings, and they would start building around the edge, which can be a little bit of a pain later in the game. So I'm going to build as far away as possible. I'm going to start with a small 4x4 square. And it has to be on the edge. You can't just build it in the middle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an option to buy later on this land. This way, nobody else can purchase this land, which can happen not as quickly because I'm farther out, but you will see eventually these tiles would turn red, kind of like this, except they would be red out here. So I want to hold all this land. Eventually, I will buy this whole thing, and I will have an extensive airport network as I buy additional runways. So the game always starts December 31st, 1969. Kind of a weird thing on this game, and I know when the first time I played this, I didn't get it, was how the game is paused. I didn't get that. And it was just really weird. And you can only build certain things during this, I say paused time. So you can see here's the customized terminal. But you can still buy the prefab terminals. As the game goes along, you will get additional terminals to different styles to buy. But let's get started with a runway. So you can use those up there. One thing I learned later is on the keypad, you can use your keypad. You can use the 2 on the keypad to zoom out even further. So that's what we're going to do here. This can be a little bit of a pain. Okay. Let's see here. I'll admit personally that this was a game that I really never fully got or figured out or kind of mastered all the little tips and tricks to it. So if there is anything, just I'll leave it in the comments and I'll try and incorporate them. I'm sure some of them are going to be that I build my plane stands too close to the runway. I've never really seen a reason not to. How these planes use them is kind of a mystery to me. Let's see what else we can build right now. We can build a little bit of road. You need to build a road. We can't do that just yet. I think this is as far as we can go with it. The other stuff will appear after we get going here. Let's go ahead and cut the... We'll go a little bit faster here so we can get to... Perfect. So now we're on January 1st. We need to have a long stay parking. So I will build that. Whoops. That is what we call another misclick if you watch my other videos. I do that more than I prefer. So now what we need to get customers into this. So let's build admin number 1. We need to build our apron. Like, this is part of the game I don't get. The difference between aprons and taxiways. Because it seems like the vehicles that you'll see that come out of, like, the plane maintained, they'll use either one indiscriminately, and it just doesn't make sense for me personally. So let's go ahead and build an apron all around. So you would think I'd want to build my plane maintain like right up against, like right here. Bad idea. Because later on, you're going to have other maintains, and they're going to be bigger. And if you build it too close and then build your plane stands on the other side here, too close, then you got a big problem. And I used to do that all the time when I first played this game. But now I've learned to give some space. And perfect. It should have been right on the edge of this land fence here. The rest is optioned land over here that I can't build on until I outright buy it. So, okay, so we have that done. Let's get our for sure needed cargo building. And we're going to need 2 airport polices. And I'm going to leave a little gap here. I will explain why in a minute. Let's get our nice and awesome fire station 2. The reason I did 2 is because certain airlines, before they become a contract with your airport, might require certain services. So they might be fine with no. I think you're required to have a fire station, but they might need fire station 2 before they even want to become a, a carrier. So I'll show you in the admin contracts where those failed requirements go. Um, but that's why I did Fire Station 2. Now I'm going to get into the glitch part of the game. There is a glitch in the game that I noticed in which planes coming off of the runway, going to plane stands or jetways or other areas of the airport, if they clip a dirt part and don't take the turn just right, they'll disappear. So what I do is I build concrete slabs. Usually I just build these like little 3-corner things, and if they clip that, they keep going. They go on and on. In this case, I'm going to build a nice all the way across for down there, and just a simple little curve here. The last thing I want to build is control towers. For me, this is like a love-hate relationship with trying to build these correctly. There's an issue. Well, I don't know if it's an issue. It might just be me, but I seem to sometimes have it where it says control tower is ineffective, and I've never really figured out why. I try and build a control tower against the runway. Sometimes that doesn't even do it. I'm not sure why. I didn't get the message yet, but we'll see. Okay, we have everything we need. What's our overdraft? 5 million. I was thinking for a second to put in the airport maintain, which will take care of the runway, but I don't want to take that chance if I get too close to 5 million. Usually I either do an admin or I do airport maintain. I usually make all contracts renew unless I know a bad contract is coming up that I had to take early on with low rates. I might do manual renew and see if I can negotiate a better rate. One other thing I'm going to do here quick, kind of a tedious part of the game, is I'm going to jack up all the rates on all of the fees. So I pushed the letter C to get the costs. I forgot what option you go under to get to this screen regardless. But I just know that if you push C, it gets you to this from the keyboard mappings. So I'm jacking up all the rates, and the reason I'm doing this is because you negotiate just about everything with the master contract carriers, and some of them might blow out some of these values to their max. So it makes no sense that if I keep this at, what was this, like 100 or something like that, to keep it at that. If they're going to want to pay more, let them pay more. Else, if they take a lower rate and it's still higher than what that minimum amount I started with is, then, then let them, I'll let it go. You'll see when I get my first master contract what I'm talking about. So, gotta do all these values. Now here's the tricky part. These say NA, but you still negotiate them in the master contract. So I used to think that you were done for and couldn't make these higher than 100. But what you can do is you can just keep clicking these. I usually click them an excess amount of times, and it should be 300 in the background. You can obviously do the normal storage, and we'll do the livestock storage. Catering ain't too bad. We don't need to do any of those. Then we don't need to do any of those. They're not negotiated. I think you can get to that, yeah, from here. So I've done my charges. No contracts yet. You'll see on the beeper, you'll get notification of a contract. You can also do retail within your terminal. And if you had a terminal, you could do hotel and it says petrol, but gasoline for us people on this side of the pond. This game was developed in the UK, so there's a lot of UK terms, as you'll see in this game. Hotels and petros can be a little bit of a pain. They don't want to be too close to the runway, but they don't want to be too far from the terminal. They want to have enough business, but they don't want to be overwhelmed, and they will usually, if they're not happy, they will leave. And here's where you would see failed contracts. If you did not have that admin building, you would not see this failed contracts tab, and you wouldn't know why you're getting some major contracts. Here's where you get to see the different airports. You can see I haven't done anything yet. You have different different perspectives. I'm using the number pad 4 and 6 to look around. 3415, good night. I like the nice touch of the sound effect while in the tower. I really do like that. There's like some aspects of this game that I really like, and I thought they took their time on. And then there's just other stuff that's like, it just doesn't make sense. We can move around the map. I like that too. But let's go ahead and speed this game up a little bit, because I'm sure you don't want me sitting around and talking all day while the time is going by in minutes instead of days. So the key is when we get contracts in, each cargo plane that we take in, cargo only plane, will take up 33% of this cargo hold. So I always like to keep track of how many contracts I have in each of these cargo holds. If it's passengers and cargo, I forgot, it's like 13% or something like that. I forgot. I could probably go and look myself. One other thing I did here is I'm going to change these airport police to cautious. And the reason I'm doing this is because it's bad for your reputation if planes go out with either illicit material or other bad stuff. So I try to make it as cautious as possible. Else, if your reputation is so bad, especially it happens more with me with passenger airlines, when it comes up to contract renewal time, an airline might not renew their contract and may even take all their planes away. So that's why I put it as cautious as possible. So you can see the first contract came in here. Okay, airline here. Size-wise, well, you can always tell how big an airline is by their sign-on fee. Anything where they require exclusive check-in desks or exclusive cargo holds, usually you can negotiate your sign-on fee in that case. but they won't, these small airlines won't do that. So you can see by me clicking through that NA on cold and livestock, that pushed it up to 300. My rule of thumb is negotiate once. Always negotiate once unless they're paying you max on everything, which I don't think they've ever done. And then, especially early on, accept everything no matter what. Oh, excellent rate. I always am concerned about this rate here. Sometimes you only get like $80, and that makes it really tough to kind of pull your way out. But 297, that's right up there. Oh, that's at. They're going to get preferred flights if it comes down to runway slots later in the game. I'll take the 297 over somebody who's only paying me 100 or 50. Accept it. Sometimes you get a flight right away when you accept the contract, but in this case I did not. So I'm not going to be getting money coming in. You're going to see once we get our first flight, the money will slowly start trickling in. But like I said, it kind of keeps building upon itself quicker and quicker. And you'll be able to pull yourself out of debt. Usually every month you usually get a contract or a flight. Here we go. Here's something more coming in. Holland Air, big airline, big airline. They want dedicated check-in desks in the terminal. What I will say now, in case I don't do a part 2 on this, is dedicated desks are a pain. And there's always complaints. There's queue lines, and I have set it up where I've given like each airline that needed them like 25 exclusive desks, and it's still not enough for like a minimal amount of passengers. It's just big pains. And if I do a part 2 or a part 3, I might get into setting up your terminal. But there's usually not enough security scanners, not enough check-in desks, not enough baggage carts. The photo booths are queuing. It can be a big pain. Oh, this restaurant doesn't like how you put it too close to this other restaurant. 202 ain't bad. You'll get more flights out of Holland Air, so hey, there we go. We got our first flight. So what you can do is you can negotiate the changing of this runway slot. I could drag it over here, drag it over here. But as you can see, I have nothing coming in or out. No need to negotiate. Let's get some money rolling in. This is the biggest of the smallest airplanes, as I like to say. As we put in bigger runways, you will get the jumbo jets coming in. But let's get this flight in. Yep, so now it says 33%. And if an airline needed dedicated cargo, you would dedicate it right here. As you can see, the money is slowly trickling in. But we should be seeing a plane come in, landing here. We can follow it here as there's not much. That did not work for some reason. I don't know if it's coming in from the left. Sometimes, yeah, the plane's coming in from the left. Sometimes it doesn't pick it up if it's over that other land that you can't ever purchase. Another airline has come in, Trans-Europe, Europa. Kind of a tedious clicking game, but it's okay. Let's go ahead and put ourselves back in debt. Let's get airport maintain um, one in, just so we can stop our runway from eroding away. I've actually never. I should try sometime. Just let it keep going without the airport maintain and see what happens to the runway. Will flights stop coming in? But I just never have done that before. Small plane, but I need the money. I need the money really bad. How much is this gonna cost? About 270,000. Let's do it. So here we go. We're gonna see some stuff come out of the plane maintain. You can see there is the gasoline truck. Now, as you build bigger plane maintains, you'll get more gasoline trucks coming out. But let's take care of this another mid-size airline to negotiate with. Um, there's other stuff in here, including a snowplow, which I have never seen in motion before. I have never seen the snowplow in motion. Don't know why. And I've basically played this game since it came out. I think I got it as a Christmas gift in 2000 or 2001. Low on the cargo, but once again, we need the money, we need the flights. Still need one more flight, and then we'll build another cargo. Because then you'll get another failed contract for not having any cargo facilities available. But no sense in maintaining something that's um, you're not using. See, here comes one of these, what I call just buggy messages. Delays due to slow refueling. Okay, what do you want me to do about it? You know, like, is that just normal because you only have a plane maintain one and I should be looking into upgrading immediately to another plane maintain, which is not available just yet? Okay, we got Ukraine Air coming in. Yep. I don't know why I clicked there, but I did. Okay, so Ukraine. And I have never had it where um, if I renegotiate once, they say no, we just regret that we couldn't come to a contract with your airline. But if you do try and do it another time, sometimes they'll come back with a better rate. It's like, and sometimes they'll come back and say, oh no, we don't want to work with you anymore. Um, it's about 50-50. Usually get a little more leeway with retail. I think it's like 60-40. They'll renegotiate a second time. I can't ever remember where they've come back and said we don't want to work with you after the first renegotiation. Let's keep going here. Dutch Air, big airline. So let's send all this out for contracts. Okay. Well, I think this is a good place to leave off for the start of this. I think what we'll do is we will do a part 2 on this game. because there's just so much to discuss, and we'll see where we end up. So, thank you for listening, tuning in. If you like what you saw, go ahead and leave me a like and drop me a comment. But this is Hogziller, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you.